Rio awakens in a place surrounded by endless clouds, standing face to face with an angelic figure. The angel calmly explains that his life has already ended, but instead of moving on to the afterlife, his journey will take an unexpected turn. Rio has become yet another unlucky victim of the infamous truck accident, a fate shared by many before him. Now it falls to Michael, the angel before him, to guide Rio into a brand new world where his second life will begin. Michael makes it clear that Rio won't be burdened with a divine mission or a grand destiny in this new world. He will be free to live however he wishes. Hearing this, Rio expresses his only desire, to live peacefully and take life at a slower pace. Michael sees no issue with that. But before sending him off, the angel explains a few key details about the place where Rio will be reborn. The world is known as Phi, a magical land where roughly 1 in 5 people are born with the ability to use spells tied to their elemental affinity. For Rio, that affinity lies with the element of water. Because he wished for a calm and easygoing life, Michael has arranged a simple home for him. Along with it, Rio receives 2 beginner's manuals, a knife, and a protective barrier around the house to keep dangerous creatures away. As part of his starter pack, Michael even provides Rio with a cold storage filled with food, enough to last him for 2 months. To make survival easier, he also includes a detailed monster guidebook covering every creature Rio might encounter in the surrounding region. For now though, Rio's attention isn't on survival, it's on testing his new magic. Excited, he steps outside and calls out, "Water, come forth." Instantly, a ball of water forms in his palm. The spell feels almost effortless, far easier than he imagined. Even more surprising, he discovers he doesn't need to say the incantation at all. Simply imagining the water is enough to summon it. Pleased with the result, he heads straight to the bathhouse and begins filling the tub with fresh water. But soon, a problem becomes obvious. He can create water, yes, but only cold water. There's no way he's going to enjoy a proper bath like that. Frustrated, he goes outside and tries to light a fire manually, but he quickly realizes he has no idea how to actually start one. Exhausted, Rio lies on the ground in defeat. Staring up at the bright sun, inspiration suddenly strikes. He fills a basin with water, then concentrates on it, attempting to compress it and draw out the heat. Slowly, the liquid begins to freeze, forming ice. With practice, he shapes the ice into a crude magnifying glass. Using it, he catches the sunlight and focuses it until a flame sparks to life. With fire at last, he heats the cold bathwater and finally enjoys a proper soak. By the end of the day, Rio has not only discovered how to freeze water but also realized the opposite must be possible. If he can remove heat, then surely he can add it too. Heating water becomes his next challenge. The following morning, while eating breakfast, Rio thinks about his situation. With only 2 months of food, he knows he will eventually need to hunt. However, he doubts a single knife will be enough to handle the creatures of the forest. That means it's time to strengthen his attack magic. His first attempt is to fling a water sphere at a tree. The spell works, splashing against the trunk, but in combat, such an attack would be useless. He remembers Michael's advice about imagination being the key to magic. So, he tries again, this time compressing the water into a tighter form to increase pressure. The idea is solid, but his control is poor. The result is no stronger than a child's toy water gun. Still, he keeps at it, practicing every day and sharpening the image in his mind. With time, his water jets become faster, more focused, and far more powerful. He even succeeds in creating hot water, though adjusting the temperature remains tricky. Soon, he shifts back to practicing ice magic. This time, he tries forming ice directly from the air. It's much harder than shaping water, but after minutes of concentration, a chunk of ice finally materializes. Launching it, however, is a challenge he has yet to overcome. His training is exhausting, often leaving him drained of mana and collapsing from overuse. But the next day, as soon as he recovers, he starts again. Weeks pass this way, and his efforts begin to pay off. He can now summon ice instantly, turning it into a deadly offensive spell. With his food supply dwindling, he decides it's finally time to head into the forest and hunt. He quickly spots animal tracks and follows them to a riverbank. There, he finds quartz that can be struck against his blade to spark fire, along with some detox herbs for emergencies. Just as he relaxes, a low growl rumbles behind him. Turning around, Rio freezes as a massive lesser boar charges toward him. Panic takes over in his first true battle for survival. At the last second, he leaps aside, narrowly dodging the beast's attack. But the boar isn't finished. It wheels around for another charge. This time, Rio reacts swiftly, creating an icy sheet under its hooves. The beast slips, and in that moment, he summons a row of ice spikes. The boar is impaled instantly, collapsing lifeless at his feet. Afterward, he checks the monster guidebook. It confirms that the lesser boar is the weakest creature in the forest, a mere beginner's challenge. Yet 2 extra pages in the back of the book catch his attention. One describes dragons, beings of overwhelming might capable of annihilating entire cities. The guide warns that if Rio ever encounters one, escape is his only option. Unfortunately, outrunning a dragon is all but impossible. Another page mentions the Akuma, fallen angels shrouded in mystery. The only advice: if you meet one, you're already doomed. The next day, Rio goes out hunting again, but danger strikes from above. A giant assassin hawk swoops down, slashing at him with wind magic. Rio scrambles to defend himself, conjuring ice barriers. But flight is impossible, and fighting seems unavoidable. He launches streams of water toward the hawk, but it easily dodges, diving straight at him. With quick reflexes, Rio forms an ice shield, slashing across the bird's eye as it strikes. Screeching in pain, the hawk crashes into the ground before fleeing with only one eye left. Though alive, Rio knows he hasn't found the peaceful life he wished for. Lost deep in the forest, he stumbles until nightfall, only to come across a glowing lake. There, a headless knight, a Dullahan, emerges, already aware of his presence. Time passes, and Rio's power grows. His water and ice magic become sharper, capable of cutting stone and conjuring massive blades of ice. Yet the Dullahan remains a mystery. It appears night after night, never speaking, but battling him endlessly. Though it overwhelms him every time, Rio senses it's testing him, forcing him to grow stronger. One night, the Dullahan demonstrates a new skill, lengthening its sword with water magic, and hands the weapon to Rio. From then on, their strange battles feel less like life-or-death struggles and more like harsh training sessions. But just as Rio's skills advance, the assassin hawk returns, this time evolved, its feathers darker and its power far greater. It launches a storm of wind slashes that shatter his defenses with ease. Anxiety grips him as he realizes how dangerous it has become. Running across the battlefield, he throws up wall after wall of ice, but each is destroyed. Spotting an opening, he counters with ice spikes, only for the hawk to dodge and rush him with terrifying speed. Then comes its deadliest move yet, a screech so sharp it disrupts his magic, leaving him defenseless. Electricity fills the air, and a lightning bolt hurls straight at him. Barely surviving, Rio uses a stick as a lightning rod to divert the strike. But the hawk isn't done. It dives with its claws ready to tear him apart. In desperation, Rio summons his ice blade, deflecting blow after blow. Remembering the training with the Dullahan, he waits for the opening, and drives his sword through the hawk's neck. The beast collapses. As Rio approaches, he feels an odd kinship. The hawk had fought tirelessly to grow stronger, just as he had. But in the end, Rio's determination prevailed. Weary, he turns homeward, only to face a dragon. Remembering the book's warning, his blood runs cold. But to his shock, the dragon speaks through telepathy. It isn't hostile at all. Instead, it asks about a black hawk passing through the region. Realizing it must mean the one he just killed, Rio apologizes, explaining the hawk had attacked him first. Surprisingly, the dragon is less angry than impressed. What really catches its eye is the blade Rio carries, a weapon it recognizes as belonging to the Fairy King. The dragon concludes that for Rio to possess such a sword, he must have earned the Fairy King's trust. Intrigued, it spends hours talking with him, answering his questions and sharing wisdom until evening falls. When they part, the dragon thanks Rio warmly, saying it has been ages since it had such a pleasant conversation. Meanwhile, in heaven, Michael reviews Rio's reincarnation file. To his shock, he notices something he overlooked. Rio has been granted a hidden trait, one not seen in over 10,000 years. Eternal youth.